See, I got sunglasses. I can hide behind sunglasses.
Yeah. Incognito. Oh man. Well, thanks everybody for joining me once again. Today I've got my buddy Matt with me. We're out at a familiar place if you guys follow my channel. We're at this trailhead down, it'll go in maybe a quarter mile down to the Loop River. Not far, but we had to hike in a little ways because the snow is too deep for my little Subaru to get through. I've got this giant Polk with way too much gear behind us, but Matt and I have brought a bunch of really awesome comfort items like a wood stove and a hot tent and beer and steak and did we bring the cast iron? We didn't bring the cast iron. So that was because we wanted to go ultralight. We didn't bring that. But yeah, we're gonna slog through the snow here. I think the snow's maybe 8 inches right here. A lot of it has melted off because this snowstorm is what, like a week old?
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks? It's been a while, but anyway, it's still pretty deep in some areas. It's kind of crusty and icy on top. But we're gonna go through here and then we gotta figure out a way to cut through the woods over to our right there, or your right, my left, and make our way down to the river. I don't know what we're gonna find exactly, but the last couple times I've been down to this campsite, it's been awesome. And it doesn't seem like anyone knows about it. I never find any trash down there, so it's pretty awesome. So anyway, come along guys, let's head out.
Hit car issues. Like, oh, we'll meet you because they like on a day.
Right?
We have to go meet them in the area.
Here's our friend, the deer. You can see their tracks and their scat all up in here. This seems to be a hotbed for deer activity. It always has seemed that way. I never see the animals, I just see the sign. That's a big animal. Look at that, man. That's got to be a buck, right?
Probably.
Big turds. I always wonder how these types of depressions form. It's almost like a little oxbow.
Yeah.
But it ends so abruptly that, I don't know.
Yeah, it probably was.
When we get out there into this next meadow, there's a little creek we'll have to find. It might still be flowing. I know it's spring fed. I don't know how cold the water is and if it will be running or not. I like to think of it as an old woolly mammoth wallow. That's not impossible, right? Don't fall down in the hole, Mr. Sled. Stay up here with me. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. All right, there's a little barbed wire fence that's just totally neglected, broken down. We're walking right over it. Whoa. Woo. Thanks, Matt. Whew. Intense. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's where the creek normally runs, right here. This is the creek bed right here. Normally runs right through there and then under. It actually goes underground just for about 30 feet right there. It's weird. Whew. Whew.
Tell you from Nebraska. Semi.
Yeah, you hear the semi in the distance. The Jake brakes. There's a pine. See that right out there?
That was probably over by.
All right, well, I've caught my breath. Matt and I have arrived at the river here. Beautiful little river. Like I said, one of my favorite spots to camp in Nebraska. And I can almost guarantee we won't see another human soul while we're here. So we're gonna head down that way over there and set up camp just maybe 100 feet down that way, not too far. There is a second spot we can take a look at, but yeah, there's a little point. So let's do it. So Matt found some fresh beaver chew right up in here.
Put this in the. It's not too late, but should we my side of the mountain it and just dig a hole in the side of a tree trunk?
Yes. We should definitely do that. That tree looks like the likely one to burn it out slowly over the course of days, weeks. So here's the campsite, ladies and gentlemen. What's interesting is all this recent woodwork stuff is not me. This is somebody else, and they've done a good job. They have a little spit thing set up over here. Have a little sitting, or maybe it's a chopping stump, which is great. Little bits of wood around, but not too bad. Not too bad.
When it's cold.
Oh yeah, is it wintergreen?
I don't know. It doesn't have much of a aroma to it. So.
This stuff here, huh? Is that the same stuff?
Yeah.
Huh. That's so interesting. It's got to have some sort of antifreeze properties to survive. All right, guys. So we've dropped our gear back at what we think is going to be our camp then, but we're going to go down and explore a little bit, just make sure we know the lay of the land and see if there perhaps is a better spot down a little further. Here's a locust tree, and then these are the famous eastern red cedars that everybody hates, but I don't mind too much. And then this is a giant A cottonwood right there. It's so majestic. Matt's already spotted beaver sign, both chew and then tracks. Are these beaver tracks, Matt?
It doesn't have any snow on it.
What are these? Are those beaver tracks?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be river otters, but that's a big thing.
Yeah, I guess
Many
those
of
are
them
probably a
are
lot
flat.
more rare.
Those were introduced in the 80s
What?
in Nebraska.
Really? And they've
I mean, it's possible. They could be up there a little bit. I mean, they're.
so they were extinct in this area, but reintroduced. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, not so steep to get in the water.
Yeah, I've swam in it in the summer. It's warm or warmish, and it's very shallow. I mean, right now it's on the low side, I think, and it's probably at its deepest out there, maybe 1.5 feet.
Well, I'm surprised this hasn't iced over, but when I came up to Kearney, the flat was starting to ice over. It was all
Really?
chunky. So this has got a good spot. I mean, direct sun.
When I camped here in the summer, there were kayakers who came through. The flow was good enough that they could kayak
Well,
down.
you could tell from It was probably this line right here.
Uh-huh.
It was probably up to there at some point because all this.
I think back in that spring flood, I think it got really bad.
This has all been washed up to it. I mean, what came down.
Oh, I think, is that more beaver chew up there? See that bright white stuff there? Oh, you know what? What is that? Yeah, that's beaver chew. Look at this, Matt. It's almost like sculpture. That's crazy.
Interesting to be like, what makes them choose like
This tree.
Yeah.
And look at the back here. He's just kind of coiled up and
That almost
snapped.
looks like a, yeah, it's true, but it almost looks like a cattle rub.
Yeah, totally.
Why this one?
I don't know. But see, here's an old one. That one's really old. I mean, this could be 30 or 50 years old as far, I mean, I don't know, but and there's some more. Shoot right over there.
Oh, yeah.
Some older stuff close, and that further one is newer.
Kind of like, where's their lodge?
I don't know.
At some point.
I don't
Probably
know.
could be in the side of, or that little tributary cut back in. It could be back there.
Right, yeah. See, this goes back a ways, and there's all these kind of wide spots that you could camp on. It's high enough that, you know, I wouldn't worry unless it was like a super bad flood. That looks like coyote to me. What do you think?
Doesn't seem hairy enough.
Oh, it's got hair. Look close. There's some hair right there. It's not super hairy, but it's got some hair.
More of the tracks next to it. It looks like a raccoon. Or
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
These
Raccoons are omnivores.
Well, maybe it could, I don't know, it could be, maybe you're right, it's coyote, because I don't see any claw marks.
Yeah, they look kind of dog-like. There's little paw marks.
Here's another one. This looks like human.
Yeah, that is a big turd.
That's a 3 wood.
Wow, that's a big one. Last time I camped in January in Nebraska, there was a ton of coyotes. It was down at that Harry Strunk area. They were close too. They howled half the night, kept me up. And I was just under a tarp. I didn't even have a tent. And I just kept the fire burning all night long. It was pretty intense. There's those pines again.
Well,
I love the pines.
Cut a lot of stuff down over there.
Those piles, yeah. I bet you that's mostly cedar and stuff, but that's too bad. So what do you think? You think that first spot is the best spot?
Yeah, it's
All right.
level.
Yeah.
It's clear.
And it's clear and it's close. It's a nice one. All right, well, let's go back and set up camp here. Go with this.
Mink.
What's that?
Mink turd.
Mink? The hairy ones? It's just a little baby animal. A teeny tiny baby. It's like we got a couple hours of sunlight left. All right, guys, so we decided we're gonna pitch our tent right there. And this can kind of be, what do you think, camp kitchen?
Sure.
Like do the fire next to the deal. We got a couple stumps we can sit on, and we actually brought chairs, so.
We need to bring our chair.
Yeah, we could have sat on stumps, man. So this is kind of perfect. Frozen to the ground.
Yeah. Somebody, I think somebody had a spit right here.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a spit, because that's what this is for.
Not stop.
Yeah, 100%.
That's funny.
It's funny. So here's the beers that I brought. The Lagunitas Super Cluster Ale. It's a super mega hopped Citra IPA. So if you like your beers hoppy, that's a good one. Dale's Pale Ale is just a classic Colorado Pale Ale. And then show them what you brought there, Matt.
Happy camper.
Did you say it was a gift from your...
Yeah, it's from our brother.
That's awesome. This is the other thing Matt brought. It's a coffee Kolsch.
I've never heard of that brewery either. There's so many now, even in
This is a new one. This is a new one. And I think this one is Ohio.
I've never heard of that.
I haven't either. I think it's down near Lincoln.
Okay. But I was like, yeah, we can drink. I like Kolsch's.
Yeah. Well,
I was
that's
looking at, like-
so funny because a Kolsch is traditionally a super light, thirst quenching beer.
Yeah.
And that coffee's going to add some color to it for sure.
Yeah. Because I don't like. I was looking at like porters and stouts and all those things. Like I can't drink any of that anymore.
I almost got a porter to bring, but I was like, I saw the Dale's Pale Ale, and I was like, I love Dale's Pale Ale. I think Matt will like that. So
Yeah.
that's what
I've never had it before. I've looked at it many of times. Like, wow.
It's not super hoppy, but it's got a nice hop flavor, and it's a classic pale ale. Just a little bit hoppier than your standard.
I'm not a big IPA person either, but this is pretty sweet too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, try this one. This one's super hoppy.
this one's a little. This is. I can tell it's citrus in this one.
Oh, this has got some Simcoe in it. It's really funky and dirty. All right, guys. Here's the Polish lavvu, and I'm pretty sure most of you all have seen this already, either on YouTube or Instagram. But I've got it outfitted since I damaged it. I repaired it, and I've got it outfitted with a stove jack that I made from a silicone baking tray. All right, guys, so Matt went to hike back to the car. Like I said, it's just a quarter mile back, not far. He wanted to do that, though, before it got dark. He was going to go grab his cell phone, make sure his wife didn't need him or wasn't worried about him. It's stinking cold out. It's like, I don't know, maybe 25 degrees. Tonight's supposed to get down below 15, maybe 13 degrees, something like that. As you can see, the Polish lavvu is successfully set up. It was an ordeal. At some points, we couldn't get stakes in. The ground it's so sandy and so saturated and frozen that I could not pound them in. So in some places, what I did is I just tied off to logs and things. But we're going to get set up. We're going to get a fire going. We're going to make some dinner. We're making steak and asparagus and some mulled wine. So stay tuned. Got a bit of Tyvek here that my buddy Dwayne gave me. So I'm just going to use that as a ground sheet. I think I can get it under most of the tent here. I think on Matt's side, we're either going to put down some Reflectix or this bad boy. El Wood Stove Magnifico. Got a bit of welding blanket that my buddy Chris from Carolina Chris Outdoors sent me. And I'm going to put that underneath the tent just to kind of give it a solid place to sit. I think that'll also just catch any burning embers that might fall too. All right, so I'm gonna put this around the back of the tent just to protect the wall and reflect heat back out towards us. It's just a little aluminum baking sheet that I've kind of flattened out real good. My 2 pieces of stovepipe. Oh, it's gorgeous. All right, so this belt, it's not made to sit here over a coat. I normally wear it around my waist, but it's gonna work great for my knife dangling abilities. I can even tuck my axe through if I need be. So I've got my new SCPR4. That's a Kephart style knife. Super excited about this. This beast is sharp. And then like I said, or like I've shown before, I've got this Nesmuk style knife made by a guy named Jordan Dans. You can find him at the Outdoor Gear Dad, or rather just Outdoor Gear Dad on Instagram and YouTube. And this thing is a slicer. I'm going to use that for dinner prep tonight. Slicey, slicey. I made the sheath for that guy and it works pretty good so far. This guy's got a little dangler. It's just a bit of leather that I sewed together, and then I used a Castrum number 3 dangler. And then I've got my little Opinel on the other hip here. I got my Giant A sleeping mattress. This is the Xped Megamat 10. I'm hoping it fits. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. All right, there's the Xped. Kind of tuck it away in the corner there. All right, there is the ammo can stove Glorioso. L ammo can stove Glorioso. Made by Pack Flame. And I think we're both gonna fit in here. Not much room for much else, but we're gonna get in here and we'll be good. So here's my new Eolus 800 0 degree bag by Hike and Bike. This company's based out of Oklahoma City. They don't do a lot of advertising, just like social media stuff. Sell directly to the consumers through, I think, Amazon warehouse distribution centers. I think they've got a pretty good reputation for how inexpensive they are. So this is gonna be the real deal. I'm testing this out. Never slept in it before. Like I said, it's supposed to get down to 13 degrees. And in a 0 degree bag, I'm hoping that will keep me comfortable. If I'm comfortable tonight, then I'll consider it a win. I brought a book to read with me. It's called Wilderness. It's by Rockwell Kent. He was an artist back late 1800s, early 1900s. Well, really, he lived till, I think, 1971, it says on the back here. So, but I think that's when he became an artist. It was like the late 1800s. Going into the early 1900s, he became kind of famous. He took a trip up to Alaska with his son, who was 8 at the time, just them two, and they stayed with an old fur trapper up, I think, in Seward, I want to say. I'm only maybe a third of the way through it, and it's a very beautiful, peaceful book. If you're looking for a true story of some peaceful wilderness living, I recommend this book here. It's got lots of beautiful illustrations by Rockwell. I think this was published originally in the 40s or 50s, I want to say. But it's about events that happened in 1918 or 1919. Now, it's hard for me to tell when it was originally published, but it's about their trip in... There's a squirrel back there. Really pretty illustrations. Check that out. So recommended so far. Like I said, I'm only about a third of the way through, but I'm gonna read that a little bit later. And because I'm bushcrafty like that, I decided to bring my kerosene lantern. I wasn't worried about weight on this trip, so I'm gonna hang this up here and we'll have a little light. That'll be kind of cool. You didn't die, huh? Did you almost die? All right, let's get this kerosene lantern fired up. What do you say?
All right. Going up was... The pants are cumbersome, to say the least.
Are they?
I'm not sure if they're worth it. But... yeah, it's not... Only had one message from Ruth.
And what was it?
She sent me a snap of our neighbor who, where you want your keys at.
All right, so I think Matt's zipping up his fly there. While Matt gets set up, you want me to start a fire, man?
Sure.
All right, we're gonna start up a dinner fire. It's fire time. Now for fire.
Good.
Especially if you need to peel that in the middle.
Also, this pillow, 6th grade. Can't get rid of it, man.
Yeah, if it still works, man.
Been on
Get rid of it.
many adventures.
You don't want to get rid of things that work. We should probably, since there's no ice on the river, we should probably put it in, don't you think?
Or we'll do a polar bear plunge.
Yeah, a polar plunge.
Team one.
Didn't you guys do that up in Minnesota?
I'm trying to think. We might have done it when we were in Boundary Water.
It sounds like something that Minnesota guys would do. I mean, I could be totally wrong.
I got a cousin who was in Wisconsin and he did it like on New Year's Day.
Yeah, which is like, that's probably the traditional day, right? I don't think I've ever tried those out.
Are we recording?
We're recording. It's low battery, but it's
Here
still
we are,
recording.
Central Nebraska.
In all of its glory. All right, guys. We're gonna chill here by the fire for a little bit, and then we're gonna start dinner. I'll bring you back when we get dinner going. In the meantime, check out this awesome fire. This fire is so metal right now. Epic and metal simultaneously. Look at that warm, glowing, warming glow. Speaking of The Simpsons, look at that warm, glowing, warming glow. Remember that quote from The Simpsons?
What? I hear you.
I said, look at that warm, glowing, warming glow. That's from it's Treehouse of Horrors. I forget which season, but it's the one where they're parodying The Shining, and they call it The Shinning. And they, Homer at the end stops going crazy, and because he gets TV back, and he's like, "Come, children, let's sit by TV's warm, glowing, warming glow." Look at that. The light's fading, but it's very pretty. It's such a great area. I just love this area. The light is fading real good. We're in this band of woods that are kind of fed by creeks and rivers. You can see the camp back in there a little bit. The fire going. But then it leads out on this prairie area. And then there's some sand hills over there. If I could zoom, you could see them, but they're not much. They're just maybe 100 more, maybe 150 more feet of elevation out there, about a mile away. This is central Nebraska, friends. This is it. I love it. Not as much as Oregon, not as much as Colorado, or Wyoming, or Washington, or Idaho. But man, when you get out in the woods like this, it just totally rejuvenates my spirits. And it's good to hang out with a guy like Matt, my buddy Jake. A couple of guys who just love camping, and so they're kind of kindred spirits that way. It's just good to hang out with them. Matt's layering up. He putting extra layers on because it's getting cold. So we got some asparagus and some steak for dinner. I'm gonna start the asparagus first because I just think it might take a little bit longer. Got a crap ton of asparagus. I got my little MSR steel pan. It's got an aluminum heat dispenser on the bottom. Works really good. We're gonna be eating good tonight. I'm gonna chop up some garlic and then throw these guys in with some olive oil and then also some balsamic vinegar. You like balsamic, okay, Matt?
Sure.
Good. Good. I never know. I get a little bit fancy with my food sometimes, so I never know.
So fancy.
So fancy. Balsamic vinegar. So fancy. Little olive oil in the pan. It's extra virgin, so I might have to take it off if it starts smoking. Because we're doing this kitchen stuff and the slicing, I'm going to use my Nesmik knife. This is a knife that a guy I know online made in
Christmas?
Yeah. I brought that to Jake's Christmas party. It's awesome. It's an awesome little knife. All right, so there's those guys. Let's chop up some garlic next. All right, we're gonna bust into one of these coffee Kolsch's by Lazy Horse. That should be an interesting beer. Thanks to Matt for bringing this. You know, it's pretty yellow. Look at that. Have you had these before?
No, I've never tried it.
Smells like coffee, but looks like a lager. It tastes a little bit like a really mild porter or a nut brown ale or something. Really delicious. That's a delicious beer right there. All right, so we got the asparagus going away in there. And let's get some garlic in there as well. But yeah, this is a slicer. You know, the Nesmik style knife is known as like a game knife, like a hunting knife. And I'm not much of a hunter, but you can tell it just slices really good. It slices this garlic up real good. I've sliced some other things in the kitchen. The asparagus and some limes the other day, and I'm gonna slice some oranges later. But it's just slicey. It's probably hard to tell in this light, but that's a real thin profile. That's probably, I don't know, less than 1/8 of an inch. I don't know what that would be, maybe. Yeah, I have no idea, but it's pretty thin, and Jordan ground it down. It's a little thicker up in here in the tang, but up here on the blade it's thin and slicey. I love it. I'm loving it. All right, guys, so that is my asparagus with the garlic. I'm gonna put it right on the coals here and see if we can get it going. All right, let's get the steaks ready now.
Steaks.
Steaks!
I found the pack that I'd like to get.
Look at that. Asparagus. Steaks. It's too hot to be closer than about maybe 2.5 feet.
I like my fire hot, dude. Look, my boots are even smoking. Evaporate.
Oh my gosh. I hope after 20 years you don't frickin' burn a hole in those boots.
I mean, the last 10 years, at least, they've been used for shoveling snow.
Right, right. Oh, man. So, all right, guys. Looks like the steaks are starting to heat up here. I'm going to get my spatula out, my fork out, and check them out. Just keep an eye on them, but we'll check back in with you guys when we've made some progress on the food here. All right, the asparagus is rocking and rolling. Let's see how the steaks are looking. They're not doing so much, so I'm going to move them a little closer, actually. Steaks are good for you. They offend people who think they're vegans, and that's okay with me. No, I'm all for animal welfare. I really am. Animal welfare is a good idea.
I'm not. Animals suck it.
You hate animals?
Just kidding, GoPro.
That totally makes sense given your profession.
Yeah.
Working with wildlife management and stuff like that. Totally makes sense that you hate animals. Oh, that smells so good. Give a whiff of that.
Garlicky.
Garlicky. That's how you know it's good, man. Alright guys, I brought my little fossils plate, so I'm gonna have to load up my asparagus, also known as asparagus, and my steak in this thing. Look at that. Look at that piece of meat, boys and girls. That's how meat ought to look. And I'll tell you, I'm pretty sure this is medium rare. It's gonna be tasty. All right, let's see how the steak looks here. Bring out the Nesmuk knife and cut into it and see what we got here. Oh man, that just slices. It slices. It dices. It's the Jordan Dan's Nesmuk knife. All right, it's nice and pink there, almost mooing, but not too bad. Like it's just a thin little layer. So I think that right there is some steak, friends. Moment of truth here.
Forced a battery. You have to use your light.
Ah, it's delicious. How well do you like asparagus, Matt?
Alright. I don't hate it.
You don't hate it, but you don't love it?
I don't know. I don't really get that much, but.
Okay. Alright, well, I left about 1/3 of it there for you. You'll have to let me know what you think. Asparagus is one of my favorite vegetables. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good stuff. It definitely will make your piggies smell funny. But, you know, can't always win. All right, got to show you guys a good bite of steak here. Hopefully you can see that there. Oh my gosh. That steak is so good. All right, guys. Matt and I are hanging out here by the fire, but we're getting ready to go to bed. The fire's almost burned down, as you can see right there. And got most everything put away. Here is the old tent mobile, as you can see there. Got a little bit of firewood here, but most of it is right there. I think I'm going to try to put the rest inside. And then we're going to get the hot tent going and snuggling. I've got some stuff for mulled wine that I'm going to get going, which will be fun. And we're just going to chill inside the tent the rest of the evening. What time is it now, Matt? It's like 9 now? So yeah, it's about 9. So I think it's about time for us to at least get a little bit more cozy. Maybe not go to sleep here, but it's cold out. I just checked the temperature and I think it said 15 degrees. So I think I'm about ready to warm up a little bit. So I'll show you what we're doing once we get inside the tent here. All right, guys, we are in the tent. We're gonna get the hot tent firing. I think I'll get my little candle lantern going in here so we have a little light in addition to my headlamp and stuff. And we're probably gonna eat some Snickers and drink some mulled wine, which is and giggle like little girls. Doesn't that sound like a fun time? Stick with us, boys and girls. We're gonna giggle like little girls. Here we go.
Quickly as not.
There is my Yuko lantern, rocking and rolling, putting off a little light. It's about time to fire this baby up. We're putting this little fire shield close to Matt because the tent is closer to his, or the stove is closer to his foot over there. So what we're gonna do is just pull out some petroleum jelly cotton balls, chuck them in there. Got a couple of them here, I think. Petroleum jelly cotton balls. That's how people in Nebraska talk, just so you know. Oh. Get a little organized here, and then we'll start this mulled wine. I've got my little zebra pot, as the Brits call it. We're gonna start with a can of wine here. Next thing we're going to do is slice up this orange here. This is a USA grown navel orange. Some of you may have heard of this variety of orange. It's very rare, but you know, you may have heard of it. It's possible. This thing slices and it dices, boys and girls. Next thing I've got here is just a little packet of spices, some cinnamon sticks, some star anise and cloves and various things. It's gonna go right into the pot, like so. What was it called?
Sunshine.
Nice, very creative.
S-O-N.
Right, of course. All right, guys, can you see that? The mulled wine is boiling away. It's time to add in the brandy, and then we're all set. It's ready to go.
Same.
I know. There was the Life Light Music Festival up in South Dakota, up by Sioux Falls. And that was, you know, it was a thing. We went, so long answer to a short question. I'm not sure I can really answer that, but if I had to pick one band that I think was maybe the best band of all time, it would probably be either Zeppelin or the Beatles. And I'd probably give a slight edge to Zeppelin. Now, I also love Creedence and the Doors, but I think of them differently. Like Creedence I love because their songs are just really good songs. They're singable songs, and their groove was so fun. It was just like half country, half rock and roll, all singable, you know. That's why I love Creedence. The Doors, I love them because of how weird they were. You know, poetic and gnarly and a little bit scary, and just like everything I think rock and roll was trying to be during that era, you know. And it wasn't, I don't think that was an easy thing to accomplish. I think a lot of people were trying to do stuff like that, but the Doors were just so original in how they approached it. But I think Zeppelin and the Beatles stand heads and tails above the rest because Zeppelin just rocked everybody's butts off. Like, they pulled in deep, deep roots, and they showed people what blues music could be, at least for a white audience, you know, people who maybe had not heard blues before. And they made it rock. You know, blues had been done, but this was the rockiest blues you ever heard. Just like, think about how heavy, you know, when the levee breaks, that song is so GD heavy. It's just heavy, and that harmonica that just wails, the way that they run that through some sort of overdriven tube amp, and then just some crazy reverb and maybe some delay or something. It's just a haunting sound, and it makes you feel like, you know, these floods that the people in New Orleans were experiencing, you know, almost were like a curse, you know, like they were fated to, you know, face these floods, and it wasn't just, you know, weather, it was, you know, something much scarier. All right, guys, here comes the mulled wine. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Ooh. Ooh. It's warm. All right. You got your cup, man? What would people think when they hear that I'm a Jesus freak? You remember that version?
Oh gosh.
And what would people do when they find that it's true? Hallelujah.
Oh, well, when we were over at your house that one time, Nick was telling me about.
So it was a podcast about the label Tooth and Nail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I did a good job. It might be a little bit heavy on the brandy, but other than that, it's pretty good.
Well,
It's stinking hot though. No doubt about that. It's stinking hot. How many came from Shelby County tonight? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I see that happen. Hallelujah. Glory. Alright, guys. So the fire is burning down. We have peed our final pee for the night, hopefully. Yeah, pretty sure. And we're getting cozy in here. Matt says he's finally warming up. See how long that lasts.
Ugh.
Gonna get our hand warmers and toe warmers going and get into our sleeping bags and call it a night here. Might read a little bit, we'll see. But it's closing in on midnight here, so it's probably a good time to go to sleep. I don't expect this stove to put out heat for too much longer. Maybe another half an hour or so. And then it should cool down pretty good, so. Anyway, we will check in with you all in the morning. Hasta luego. Alright, good morning, guys. We both slept warm last night. Neither of us got cold, so I consider that a win.
Yeah, it's a big win.
Yep. My mat I'm on, I had to add air to a couple times in the night, which I was kind of disappointed with. I don't know if that was just a function of the cold ground kind of causing it to but I don't think that makes sense, because the air I put in, it was cold to begin with. I think it's got to be losing air slowly. So anyway, so yeah, we're gonna get up and get some breakfast going, and I might stoke the wood stove again just for the heck of it. Nice warm place to kind of huddle in for a little bit. Matt says that he checked outside and it's actually snowing right now, so this is going to be a pretty epic looking tent in the snow. Alright, check back in with you soon. Alright guys, just a light dusting of snow here. I'm going to start packing up and I think get a little fire going too. I'm going to pack up the bedding stuff anyway. It looks like the temperature is like 22 according to that. So that's actually warmer than it was in the middle of the night last night. It definitely got down to 15 by the time we went to bed. That's cold. But like I said, we both stayed warm, so that's the important thing. It's nice out here because there's no breeze, which is really unusual for the Great Plains. Matt remarked this morning that the snow is falling straight down. See that? Just almost no drift to it. It's just a nice little gentle snow. I haven't really got to use this knife yet this trip, so I'm gonna cut off some little pine shavings to help get this fire going. I don't have much in the way of kindling this morning, and it's all snowy out there, so any help I can give this fire will be good. This is like pretty resinous pine. I think it probably counts as fat wood, so it should help this fire get going. Pretty fine curls there. All right, let's get this thing rolling, and it'll be cozy in here. I don't think there's a lot of function this morning because I think we're going to cook on the fire out there. But I just thought it'd be a nice cozy place to hang out, keep our water bottles from freezing, and then I'll get some good panning shots of the tent in all its glory in the snow, which will be fun. So. All right, Matt made us a fire. It's getting going here.
Now we're looking for the coffee.
You don't have to carry eggs and
Yeah,
shells.
that's called prep work. All right, so we got some O'Brien potatoes, some cheddar cheese, some ground sausage, right?
Yep. Hot.
And
Basically
some
just like a-
not frozen eggs, right?
I'm just gonna have all of them.
That's amazing. They did not freeze. We kept those things in the tent with us last night, and they look good. I wonder if this area is going to flood again this spring.
Well, the loop system did all right because that's all spring fed. It's not snow melt. So it had high water, but nothing like the Platte or the Elkhorn.
Right. Well, when we came here in the spring, like there was evidence that
Or get up here.
it'd been up to about here, like that high. Like you could see all the grass wrapped around trees at that point, you know. So it got high. But that's interesting that it's spring fed. So that these three branches are all coming.
This starts all the way around, like the Sand Hills past, like Stapleton and Tyron, I think. It's kind of where it starts.
Yeah. That's way up there, huh?
Mm-hmm. But it's spring fed, but then it picks up along a lot, you know,
Runoff or whatever.
from the others. But
Yeah, I always am curious, like whenever it comes to river systems, especially when I hear that they start at a spring somewhere,
yeah,
I always want to like trace it back to the source and like see the water bubbling out of the ground. Springs are one of the cooler things, I think, in geology. Yeah, get it? Unless they're a hot spring, then they're not cooler. But just like in geology and ecology and even in like history, you know, springs played a huge role in human settlement in areas. Battles have been fought over springs. It's crazy. I think they seem magical to ancient people. They're like, well, guess this is where water comes from.
Yeah.
That in the sky, you know. It's kind of burned down a little bit. Oh boy.
Oh man, that's like the Niobrara though. Like I was thinking, because the Niobrara is spring fed too.
Is it?
All the way like into, I think, coastal Wyoming.
Yeah.
But oh man,
Smoky. You're gonna get a snoot full of smoke if you stick your snaz down there. That's what old guys say. All right, so Matt brought coffee granules in these little silicone stasher bags. Am I opening it up right?
yeah, it's just sealed. You just pull it apart.
Okay. I have no idea how strong I'm brewing.
Usually about 1 to 2 tablespoons. That's good.
Okay.
I put about that much in mine.
This is a pretty small
be
cup.
strong.
I carved this myself from like a bit of firewood, this cup here.
Impressive.
It was kind of a miserable experience, but I'm so glad I did it.
Oh no.
We'll turn and burn on it.
Yeah, I think we're done.
There's the coffee. As you can see right there. Beautiful. I don't know if you like that stuff, but I like that in my eggs and sausage.
Hot sauce, like spice sauce, we'll go see.
That's pretty good. That's coffee. Oh, it's strong.
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
That's strong.
Come on, smoke.
Come on, smokes. All right, first bite. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
Why does food taste so good when you're camping? It's just awesome. You can't beat a little sausage and egg and some potatoes and
coffee. Put it on the snow's getting cold.
So if we do like one of these trips up to Wyoming, down for something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. You think you can finish the rest of that? Because I'm full.
Maybe not all, but we'll see. I'll probably pound it. You hear that GoPro?
What's that?
I'll pound it. There is. Have you ever parked up at the top? They kind of have that little viewing area.
Up in Snowy Range?
Yeah.
No, the only time I've ever been up there was with Jake last year, and we did not go. We went up to that first little trailhead.
Oh.
All right, guys. So we're just finishing up breakfast, which was delicious. We're gonna just kind of let the fire burn down, clean up a little bit there. I'm gonna start breaking down the tent and packing up. We'll head out pretty quick, and I'll check back in with y'all when we're heading out. Peace. All right, friends, we are all packed up. We soaked the fire real good with a bunch of leftover water we had, put a bunch of snow on it, so that's cold out. Obviously our tent's all packed up. It was right here. Just going through, doing a little sweep for left behind items or garbage that we didn't catch or anything, but in general I think we did a pretty good job. All right, let's head out. Whew. This is where it gets a little sketchy. I hate getting this close to the edge. Oh, here's that creek that I was telling you about. It's flowing.
Yeah. I think this is. To go dip netting in there. It would be fun just to see what's in there.
Like little fish or something?
There might be a little fish, but usually, I mean, you get like dragonfly larvae and damselfly larvae and maybe some. Might be a small crayfish and stuff.
Crayfish?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Nothing big enough that you're gonna actually eat. But
Right.
if it was more sandier soil, you could get probably get gar.
Okay, sure. The little guys with the pointy noses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Rude.
Disobedient. You got a little snot there. I got a little snot. I'm trying to get that off before we capture anything on film.
Too late.
Oh. You can always edit your shots. That's a good thing. Whew. Guys, I must be out of shape.
I'm completely out of shape.
Just hiking up this little hill here through the forest, pulling the sled. Given this sled's got like 100 pounds of gear in it. Literally, I think it has 100 rounds of gear. But yeah, that winded me. So we're back at the trailhead. It's just a couple steps further up to the car. But I appreciate everybody joining me. I sure appreciate Matt coming to hang out with me and tolerating all my filming while we're out in the woods trying to get away from technology. It's kind of ironic, isn't it?
I don't have any profound words.
No, I don't expect profound words. This is being out in the woods. This is about being simple and not profound. It's profound in its simplicity, you see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been Darian with Pike Outside. As always, be kind, be adventurous, and go winter camping, friends. It's a blast. Hopefully not an Arctic blast. Hopefully not.
No bugs, no people.
Yeah, no bugs, no people. We saw 0 people, 0 bugs.
We heard people.
We heard people turning cookies out in the field not too far away.
Somebody was shooting.
Yeah. We saw a woodpecker. I saw at least 1 squirrel. A bunch of deer sign. We heard an owl. We heard some coyotes. So it was a good, fun adventure overall. So yeah, tune in next time for more awesome snow camping. If we can muster another trip before the snow leaves us, I'm gonna try to do that, and it should be epic. See you later.
No